We're back on the record at 6:04 p.m. Pacific time.
All right, Dr. Wilson, I want to try to see if I can tie this together in a couple of respects. I think we've agreed, and the medical record reflects that Ms. Co sustained a concussion in the automobile accident of September 2023. We agree with that, correct?
Yes.
All right. And that some of the symptoms from that, the dizziness, they've continued for a period of time that's probably longer than you would expect for a normal recovery, correct?
That's right.
We could also agree that the neurologic evaluation of cognitive impairment or mental acuity that's been performed by Dr. Bhattacharya and Dr. Kalin, and even your gross neurological evaluations, have indicated or have resulted in essentially normal neurologic function, correct?
Yes.
Right. And then in terms of many of the issues that we associate with cognitive deficits, memory issues, focus, concentration, ability to recall, is that Ms. Co has demonstrated in her visits with you a good ability to do those things, correct?
Yes.
But there also seems to be in this medical picture an emotional issue about depression and anxiety, correct?
Yes.
And my question to you is that if you look at her medical condition as it developed from 2021 to 2025, there have been a number of issues that have affected how Ms. Co feels about her independence, her freedom, and her ability to do things. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So some of those things that she's talked about is, I think there's a reference at one point that her brother may have taken away the car keys from her. And as a result of that, well, there are two things. Let's look at that one first, is that one of the things that she talked about when she was deposed is her involvement with her church. That she, as a retired person, is actively involved in church activities, festivities, going to church, and those things were important to her, correct?
Yes.
All right. And as a result of not being able to drive or having to depend on her brother, those are issues that would make her feel depressed. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
I'm going to object that it's calls for speculation and calls for an opinion outside the scope of her expertise, but she answered the question, so we'll move on.
All right. And that there are a lot of factors that can enter into development of a depression in a person. And many of those things relate around their ability to do things that they enjoy, such as the church activities, correct?
Yes.
All right. And Ms. Co talked about at her deposition that some of the things she enjoys are doing puzzles at home and watching TV. And she's indicated that she no longer is able to do that. Now, the presence of the thyroid eye disease and the problems that she was having with her vision reflect before the accident that she was experiencing problems with those things. Did you agree with that, correct?
Yes.
All right. And that issues that relate to anxiety and depression relate to general health and aging issues as well. As we get older, there are fewer things that we can do, correct?
Yes.
So, do you have an opinion about how Ms. Co's medical condition in general, the thyroid eye disease, the issues that she had with vision, the issues she had with cellulitis, the issues that she had with her knee instability. Do you have an opinion as to how those things contribute to her anxiety and depression currently?
Going to object that it calls for speculation and it calls for expert opinion. You can go ahead, Dr. Wilson.
Just if you've had that opinion while you've been treating her, that's the question.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
I'm going to ask the reporter to read that convoluted question back.
1 second. So, do you have an opinion about how Ms. Co's medical condition in general, the thyroiditis, the issues that she's had with the vision, the issues she's had with cellulitis, the issues that she's had with her knee instability? Do you have an opinion as how those things contribute to her anxiety and depression? And then Mr. Roach overlapped with you a little bit, so I didn't get the last 2 words of.
Well, let's strike that question, see if I can rephrase it a little better. Dr. Wilson, you formed an opinion earlier that you believe that some of her depression and anxiety are related to consequences of this accident, if I understood that from an earlier testimony, correct?
Yes.
All right. But would you agree that Ms. Co's vision issues, her difficulty with watching TV, doing puzzles, participating in church activities, which may have pre-existed this accident, are also a substantial factor in what you understood to be her sense of loss of freedom and enjoyment?
Yes.
Okay. And that those factors in terms of her eye issues, her knee instability, the other medical issues, those are factors that progress through 20 and 2023, and they remain unresolved in 2025. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if you put all those factors together, do you have a belief that all of those factors cause her to be depressed about her change in her health and her well-being?
Yes, they're contributory.
And it's not just the motor vehicle accident alone.
I don't think you can isolate one cause.
Okay. Can't separate one from another.
That's right.
All right. Dr. Wilson, I've got some notes to review, but I think what I'd like to do is ask Mr. Roach if he has questions that he'd like to ask or points to clarify.
Yeah, I do. I anticipate my examination will be between 45 minutes and an hour. Does anyone want to take a 5-minute break before we start that, or I could start right now?
I need to take 5 minutes if that's okay.
Of course, yeah. Why don't we come back at 6:17 and I'll rattle off some questions.
All right.
Okay, great. 5 minutes.
Thank you.
We're going off the record at 6:12 p.m. Pacific time. We're back on the record at 6:18 p.m. Pacific time.
Good evening, Dr. Wilson.
Good evening.
My name's John Roach. I'm one of the attorneys representing Miss Evangelina Golaw Co. I'll try to make this as quick as I can. Inevitably, some of my questions will be a bit redundant, so I apologize in advance. What's your professional relationship to Miss Co?
She's my patient.
Would you consider yourself her primary care physician?
Yes.
And has that been the case since 2021?
Even before that.
Oh, when did you become her primary care physician?
And 2018. Oh, actually, I can go further. 2017, 2016.
Thank you. So you've seen her and evaluated her before and after her motor vehicle collision of September 25th, 2023. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. During medical school or residency, did you receive training on traumatic brain injuries?
No.
Did you receive training about concussions?
No.
Okay. As a primary care physician, have you developed knowledge about concussions?
In general, yes.
Okay. And is that also true for mild traumatic brain injuries?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe for a layperson what a mild traumatic brain injury is?
It's usually caused, I can't explain in scientific terms, but it's usually some symptom related to impact injury that causes some memory issues and dizziness, usually related to the traumatic event. And usually they get resolved in a few days, but it's more related to electrical impulses in the brain that causes symptoms to develop. Nothing that can be measurable by hemorrhage or brain scans. I don't believe that those are abnormal in terms of mild traumatic brain injury.
Can you describe for a layperson what a concussion is?
Concussion is when there is also related to an injury caused by either impact, fall, or um, head, a fall or an injury that causes mild symptoms such as a headache, but usually resolve within 24 to 48 hours.
Is a concussion a form of a mild traumatic brain injury?
I would say so, but I'm not a specialist in that regard.
And I understand that you're not a neurologist. I'm just asking for your basic understanding as a primary care physician. So thank you for that. Follow-up question. Can you have a mild traumatic brain injury and have a relatively normal neurological assessment in your experience as a primary care physician?
Yes,
In your experience, can head trauma cause symptoms such as memory loss, tinnitus, dizziness, and nausea?
yes.
Can you tell me what tinnitus is?
It's ringing in the ears.
Can a concussion or mild traumatic brain injury disrupt the auditory system or brain's processing of sound, potentially leading to tinnitus?
Yes,
Is head pain, tinnitus, and dizziness, are those common post-concussion symptoms?
yes.
Can head pain, tinnitus, or dizziness persist even with a normal EEG?
I don't know, but I guess yes, it can persist.
Doctor, if you don't know, it's okay to just say you don't know. He
Yeah,
doesn't
I
want
don't
you to
know.
guess about anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. That may have been more of a question for a neurologist. What is vestibular therapy?
It's actually positional changes or therapy where they do head adjustments to sort of desensitize the brain from causing dizzy spells with certain positions.
Is that something that a person with a mild traumatic brain injury could benefit from?
If they have dizziness, I would assume so, but I'm not sure. So
Okay. Are you familiar with what a diffuse axonal injury is?
no,
Okay. Do you have an understanding of what post-concussion syndrome is?
just in general.
And what is that understanding?
It's usually, well, it's triggered by an injury, so concussion, which means trauma or pressure or impact to the head, and it causes symptoms such as headache, dizziness, tinnitus, um, mental fog related, temporarily related to that injury.
And is post-concussive syndrome something that could last for years and maybe forever?
I don't know.
Okay. Now we've talked a bit about Ms. Co's medical history, and I'm going to ask a couple questions on that subject. Before September 25th, 2023, was dizziness a chronic or persistent problem for Ms. Co?
Before which date?
The date of the collision, which was September 25, 2023.
I'm trying to go back and see if she complained about that.
Well, she did complain about it on June 29th, 2021 and May 24, 2022. Those are the only references I found in the medical records. So to rephrase my question, was dizziness chronic and persistent before September 25, 2023?
No.
And feel free to reference your records for this question. Did that pre-accident dizziness resolve before the collision of September 25, 2023?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Did Miss Co's pre-accident dizziness, did those episodes resolve before the collision of September 25,
I'm
2023?
going to
Or was
insert an
it an
objection.
ongoing problem?
I'm sorry. I apologize, John. You want to say that before I object?
Yeah, it's all right. I'll just rephrase the question and then you can make your objection.
And so, doctor, let him object after the question's asked, and then you answer the question if you understand it.
Did Miss Co's pre-accident dizziness referenced on the visits on June 29th, 2021 and May 24, 2022, did her dizziness resolve before the collision of September 25, 2023?
Objection calls for speculation. You may answer.
I can only go by my notes. So before the accident on September 2023, I saw her on, let's say, April 2023. And she had the double eye problem, but and she sometimes feels dizzy. She mentioned sometimes dizzy on April 4, 2023.
Okay. So was it an ongoing chronic condition, her dizziness, or would you describe it as sporadic before the collision?
I think it's sporadic. Her description was sometimes.
Before September 25, 2023, did Miss Co have documented tinnitus?
She did.
And would you describe it as persistent or sporadic?
I don't recall.
And this is one of those questions where you can review your medical records, because I'm trying to figure out whether it was in both ears and it was persistent, or whether it was in one ear and sporadic. So if you could just take a moment with that question in mind and take a look at the records.
I'm looking for a record from the ENT. I don't recall the details. I don't, I have to guess, it's sporadic. And I don't know if it's just both ears or one ear.
Okay. Let me see. Why don't we I will go ahead and share screen and we'll take a look at some medical records. Okay. Can you see the Washington Health records on
Yeah,
my screen?
let's see, what date is this? July?
Well, what I'm going to do is put in the word tinnitus.
Okay.
And we'll start at the beginning. Let me see. Here we have a date of June 3rd, 2022. And it says tinnitus unspecified laterality.
June 3rd, 2022.
Here it
Yeah,
says
okay, I got
occasional
it.
tinnitus in right ear.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's June 3rd, 2022.
Yes.
Here on April 3rd, April 6th, 2023, we see another mention of tinnitus. It says negative for hear loss and tinnitus, at least on that date. Here we have June 1st, 2023. It says negative for hearing loss and tinnitus. Same as June 27th, 2023. Here we have another reference to tinnitus on July 3rd, 2023, where it says negative for hearing loss and tinnitus. Another reference on July 10, 2023, shortly before the accident, it says negative for hearing loss and tinnitus. Here on August 30th, 2023, it says negative for hear loss and tinnitus. And then it looks like the first time you saw Miss Co after the collision was September 27th, 2023. Does that sound right?
That's right.
And did you diagnose her with tinnitus on that day?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason for her visit was neck pain and head injury?
Dizziness, tinnitus, and recent motor vehicular accident.
Thank you. And reason for exam, it says dizziness, tinnitus, scalp hematoma, secondary to motor vehicle accident. Is that correct?
That's right.
So is it fair to say that tinnitus was not bothering her in the couple visits before her car accident, and it
Yes.
started becoming a problem for her immediately after the car accident?
Yes.
Did she give you a history of when her tinnitus started after the motor vehicle accident?
It started after the accident.
And did she give you a history if it started immediately after the accident, or how
Well,
long after
I
the impact did she start complaining of it? As far as you can tell from your examination of her and review of the records.
well, she went to the ER for the accident on the 25th. I saw her 2 days later. And in the when I saw her, she was complaining of the tinnitus. In the ER, I'm trying to see if she complained of tinnitus in the ER. But the only thing I can tell you is she complained to me 2 days later when I saw her.
Thank you. Based off your review of the medical records and your memory of Ms. Co, before September 25th, 2023, and I'm going to refer to that date a lot because that's the date of her car collision that I represent her for. Was headaches one of her common complaints?
No,
Before the collision, did she complain of posterior scalp sensitivity or tenderness?
no,
Did she feel that she had cognitive difficulties before September 25, 2023?
You mean, did she tell her that?
Yes. Thank you for that, Mr. Tabari. Did Ms. Co give a history of feeling that she had diminished cognition before September 25th, 2023?
I don't recall if it was during the accident or before. She had a few other things going on before the accident.
Okay. Did Ms. Co complain of memory impairment before September 25th, 2023?
No,
One of the problems Ms. Co had before the collision was something called hypothyroidism. Was that well controlled with medications like levothyroxine?
yes.
What complaints did Ms. Co relate to you at that first visit on September 27th, 2023?
So she said she has neck pain, posterior neck pain, her scalp, she has pain in her scalp, dizziness, tinnitus, both ears, no vertigo, and some nausea.
Did you observe a hematoma on her head at that visit on September 27th, 2023?
I don't recall.
Okay, I'm going
Oh,
to,
I'm sorry. I did note on my progress note, there was a hematoma on her scalp, yes, but no open wound.
okay. I'm going to share my screen and mark and attach as Exhibit A a photograph, which I'll represent to you, is of the hematoma on the back of her head following September 25, 2023. Does Exhibit A resemble the hematoma you observed on September 27th, 2023?
Yes.
What diagnosis did you make on September 27th, 2023?
Cerebral concussion.
Did you come to an understanding as to what caused the cerebral concussion?
Status post motor vehicular accident.
I'm going to identify Exhibit B and share my screen with you. Did Ms. Co ever share with you any photographs of the damage to either vehicle involved in her motor vehicle collision of September 25, 2023?
I don't recall.
I'll represent to you that what we're seeing on the screen as Exhibit B is a photograph of the vehicle that struck Ms. Co from the rear. Just as a layperson, is this photograph consistent with the hematoma you saw on the back of Miss Co's head?
Well, that really
Yes.
calls for speculation on her part. I mean, doctor, if you can answer without guessing, but go ahead.
You're asking me if this could have caused the hematoma?
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. Did you order a brain MRI of Miss Co at that initial visit on September 27, 2023?
Yes.
And why was that?
Because of the dizziness, the tinnitus, the hematoma, and the motor vehicular accident, to evaluate further for any other injuries.
What do symptoms like nausea, headache, dizziness, and tinnitus suggest in the context of a recent motor vehicle collision?
Concussion.
Is the hematoma on the back of Miss Co's head consistent with a whiplash mechanism from a rear end collision, striking one's head on the back of a seat?
Well, whiplash is usually your neck moving, whiplashing, not necessarily a hematoma.
Well, just assume that Miss Co's head struck the back of her headrest in the collision. Would that be consistent with the hematoma you observed?
It can be, yes.
When you evaluated Miss Co on September 27th, 2023, were her complaints of immediate post-accident symptoms like shock, fear, dizziness, nausea, and pain align with a possible loss of consciousness?
Objection lacks foundation.
Well, it really calls for speculation. Yeah, and it does like a foundation. I mean,
Yeah.
did you think that at the time?
The loss
Doctor?
of consciousness? She did not have loss of consciousness as far as I was informed.
Well, let me ask another question. Did you eventually change your diagnosis to include a loss of consciousness?
No. There was, unless you, I don't think there's anything referring to any loss of consciousness.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you and show you page 1163 of your medical records, which I'm going to assume you have not memorized.
You're right.
Okay. Is it true that on or about November 9th, 2023, you changed the diagnosis to include a transient loss of consciousness based on what her brother told you?
So let's see. Her brother reports she lost her keys to her car.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just direct your attention to the highlighted part, and then if you could
I
just
see.
review that.
Okay, so per her brother, she had a transient loss of consciousness.
And did her brother tell you anything else about how she had been doing as of that date, November 9th, 2023?
Yes. Her brother said I mean, how she was doing. Well, wakes up early, feels heavy in the frontal area, feels off balance, and the sensitivity in the scalp area where she had the hematoma and dizzy spells.
Did her brother mention anything about starting to lose items such as her keys?
Yes, lost her keys to her car about 3 weeks ago, and she was heating food, and the food got burned. And her brother's daughter-in-law smelled the burned food. Yes, that's from the brother's history.
And is your understanding that her brother lives with her?
Yes,
Okay. Now, on that date, 11/9/2023, did you change the diagnosis to cerebral concussion with loss of consciousness?
yes, based on her brother's history.
Is that because you found her brother's history credible?
Yeah, yes,
Was it your sense that her brother was trying to help her navigate her changes after the motor vehicle collision?
yes, he's very supportive.
Okay. Now, I jumped around a little bit, but I also want to go in chronological order. So I'd like to go back to this visit you had with Ms. Co on October 18th, 2023. And to help refresh your recollection, I'll share my screen. On October 18, 2023, did Ms. Co report ongoing tinnitus?
Yes,
Did Ms. Co report left frontoparietal discomfort?
yes.
What does that mean in layman's terms?
Pain on the left side of the head.
Okay. And we talked about how on November 9, 2023, you came to believe that she had lost consciousness in the collision. Is that correct?
Her brother furnished the history that she did lose consciousness for a short period of time.
And did you accept that as true in terms of your treatment
I
of
just
Ms. Co?
I just mentioned to the brother that comparing his loss of consciousness report, the ER said there was no loss of consciousness. I just informed him that there was a difference in the history from the ER.
Okay. And her brother would have the benefit of discussing her case with her cousin, who I understand was driving the vehicle at that time.
Yes,
Okay, so he might have some information that the emergency department did not have. Is that fair to say?
Fair, yes.
When you spoke with Miss Co, did you speak to her in English?
Both English and Tagalog.
Okay, so you had the unique benefit of being able to speak to her in her native language. Is that true?
Yes,
Okay, and that might not be the case in the emergency department. Is that fair to say?
that's fair.
By December 14th, 2023, she had an ongoing diagnosis of post-concussion syndrome. Is that a diagnosis that you agree with based on your review of the medical records, your memory of treating Miss Co, and your interactions with her?
Yes.
Did Miss Co begin to describe to you cognitive or emotional difficulties?
Yes.
Did Miss Co report to you memory loss, dizziness, and ringing in the ears ever since the motor vehicle collision?
Yes.
Do you have an opinion as her treating doctor whether her post-concussive symptoms have resolved as of today?
I haven't seen her since for a few months now, so I don't know.
Based on your last interaction with Miss Co, do you have an opinion whether her post-concussive syndrome persisted at that time?
As of yes, she still has symptoms.
And what symptoms are persisting for Miss Co?
Her dizziness, problems with vision. She's the tinnitus.
Do her subjective complaints of memory impairment persist to this day? Based
Yes.
off your most recent visit, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And did Miss Co describe to you difficulties with cognition other than memory? For example, getting confused or forgetting words?
I don't remember about forgetting words. I don't know.
Did Miss Co describe to you a deterioration in her memory since the motor vehicle accident of September 25, 2023?
Yes.
Did her dizziness and tinnitus become more frequent and worsen after the collision?
I don't know about the intensity, but it was still persistent.
Did she develop new cognitive issues, impairments after the collision?
Yes.
Was her normal audiology evaluation consistent with Ms. Co's reports of bilateral tinnitus post-collision?
I don't know about the audiology test. I'll have to look back at the ENT report.
Okay, and we could do that together. Well, I'm not sure if I have the results on this exhibit, so I'm going to move on for the sake of everybody having a
Okay.
timely dinner tonight. Did you refer Miss Co to neurology for concussion evaluation?
Yes.
Did Miss Co's brother Joey report significant changes in her daily functioning, cognition, and safety risks, such as kitchen fires, after the collision?
Yes.
Were you ever able to talk to Joey, her brother, about the reasons why she stopped driving?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Were you ever able to have a discussion with her brother Joey about the reasons why Miss Co no longer drives an automobile?
I'm going to have to object to that on the basis of hearsay and speculation.
Did you ever talk to him about that?
Actually, I did not. The brother just volunteered that he advised the Evangelina not to drive.
Would you be surprised to learn that one of the reasons why he advised her not to drive is because she would get lost while driving and
He
not be
did,
able to find her way home?
yeah, he didn't tell me that. Um, to answer your question about the audiology test, she did have what audiology test December 14, 2023. She was seen by ENT. It was normal.
Is that consistent with the onset of post-traumatic tinnitus? To have a normal audiology exam?
I don't know.
Okay. Did Miss Co report to you frustration with puzzles or word finding difficulties after her collision of September 25, 2023?
Yes.
Did she express frustration with those difficulties?
Yes.
Did you diagnose Miss Co with PTSD following the collisions? I'm
Yes.
sorry, the collision.
Yes.
What symptoms led to that diagnosis?
Her overall depression, anxiety, and frustration with her disabilities, her functioning.
In your opinion, did the motor vehicle collision contribute to her development of PTSD?
Yes.
Throughout your treatment of Miss Co, did you observe post-accident emotional changes like depression or fear of driving?
I know about the depression. I don't know if she became afraid of driving from then. I don't know.
Did you diagnose reactive depression or anxiety after the motor vehicle collision?
Yes.
In your follow-up visits with Miss Co, did Miss Co endorse PTSD symptoms such as nightmares, irritability, or helplessness?
Yes.
Do you have an opinion whether she had increased dizziness following the motor vehicle collision?
I don't recall.
Okay. Now, we had discussed the episodes of dizziness before her accident, and you described them as sporadic. Following the motor vehicle collision, would you describe her dizziness as sporadic or ongoing and chronic?
It's sporadic.
You had 14 visits with her after the accident, and in 8 of those visits, she described dizziness.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Would you consider, in light of that information, assuming it's true, would you consider her dizziness more of an ongoing problem?
Yes.
Do you have an opinion whether the increase in dizziness is linked to the accident and the head trauma?
I don't know.
Did Ms. Co provide you information about her December 11, 2024 fall?
What's the question?
Did she give you a history about a fall in December 11, 2024, in which she broke her hip?
Yes.
Did she give you a history of dizziness contributing to that fall?
Yes. Can I clarify that?
Please, yes.
I have to go back to my note because she first saw my nurse practitioner. But on my note, so this was, when did I see her? January 22nd is the first time she told me about it in person. So she did feel dizzy while walking from her kitchen to the TV floor, to the TV room.
Is it fair to say she gave you a history of having a dizzy spell, trying to
Yes,
stabilize herself on a chair and falling
yes,
over?
yes,
Is that consistent with the dizziness she complained to you about on 8 out of 14 visits after
yes,
September 25, 2023?
yes,
And you've already told us that she had increased dizziness following the motor vehicle collision.
yes.
Did that increased dizziness contribute to the fall that broke her hip?
Yes.
Objection calls for speculation.
Okay. Based on the history she gave you, your review of the medical records, and your review of Ms. Co, did the increased dizziness following her accident contribute to the fall that broke her hip?
Same objection.
The same question. She already answered it.
It's slightly different. You
Go
can
ahead,
answer the
doctor. One
question,
more time.
Dr. Wilson. I'm sorry to be duplicative, and believe it or not, I'm almost done.
Well, she's chronically dizzy. Whether it made her fall, it probably did because she said she was dizzy and while walking and she fell.
Okay, was a head trauma that she experienced in her accident a factor that a reasonable person would consider to contribute to the onset of her cognitive problems she reported to you after the collision?
Well, that's not really a proper question for her as a doctor. You can ask her about what she thought, but to ask her about what a reasonable person would think, I think is beyond the scope of this deposition.
Fair enough. In your opinion, based on your evaluation and treatment of Ms. Co, was her head trauma a factor that contributed to the onset of her cognitive problems like memory decline, confusion, and difficulty with crossword puzzles?
I'm going to object on lack of foundation.
Go ahead, doctor, if you can answer the question.
I can answer in generality. So I think they're all contributing. You can't isolate one problem. She has eye disease. She can't read. She can't, she's dizzy. She can't walk. Her legs buckle. And she can't drive. Her overall sense of freedom is gone. I can't really tell you that all of it is just one cause.
And I appreciate that, because I think I agree with you that most things are multifactorial. I guess to simplify my question, was the head trauma from this accident one of those causes that contributed to her cognitive problems?
Same objection, lack of foundation.
He's asking you what you thought, doctor, if you can answer the question.
Well, if I just base it on when she first started complaining about it, yes, she complained about it after the accident.
Okay, so it was a new problem after the accident, true?
True,
And she did have a sign of a bruise to the back of her head following the collision, true?
true,
And her cognitive problems had a temporal relationship to that head trauma, and she had never reported these cognitive problems to you before that head trauma, correct?
true.
Now, did the collision and her head trauma strike that? Did the collision and its resultant head trauma contribute to her increased tinnitus?
I will just guess based on the sequence, but I don't know that it's the, I don't know how to answer that, but maybe.
Okay, well, the standard we're looking for in a civil case such as Ms. Coe's is whether more likely than not. So it's kind of the yeah, probably standard, or I'm not asking for 100% certainty. And I'm just asking, was it more likely than not that her head trauma, which we've already talked about and you've seen the photo, whether that was a factor that contributed to her increased tinnitus following the collision?
Yes,
And was that head trauma a factor that contributed to her increased dizziness?
yes,
She also had hypertension, is that true?
yes.
Was that a factor in any symptoms that we've talked about, such as dizziness, tinnitus, and cognitive problems?
Was that a factor?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's related to this accident. She had a high blood pressure when she went to the ER.
And I'm not saying that it was related to this accident. It's my understanding that her hypertension pre-existed the accident. Is that
Yes,
also your understanding?
that's right.
So in your experience as a medical doctor, can there be, can it be true that her hypertension could be a contributing factor and also a collision where she strikes her head be a contributing factor to the increase in symptoms and the onset of symptoms following the collision?
I don't know.
Fair enough. Given Ms. Coe's constellation of pre-existing issues and her age, do you have an opinion whether she was more susceptible to injury in a rear end collision than a healthy 25-year-old male without the problems that she had?
Objection, incomplete hypothetical, lacks foundation.
If you understand the question, doctor, go ahead and answer it if you can.
I don't know. I don't know if just the age would be a big difference in the response to the same accident.
Given her overall medical presentation to you before the accident, she had multiple issues. Is it fair to say that she was more fragile or more vulnerable to injury from a car crash than a younger, healthier person would be?
Yes,
Do you have an opinion whether at this time, given the persistence of her symptoms, improvement in her memory is likely or unlikely?
Well, she
Objection
hasn't seen her
beyond
since.
that.
Yeah, she hasn't
I'm
seen her
sorry,
since
can
March.
you guys repeat that? The objections?
Cyrus?
Go ahead, Bob. You go first.
Objection beyond the expertise of this witness.
And she hasn't seen her since March, so there's no foundation. I mean, she can talk about what she saw in March.
Okay, let me ask a better question. Based on your most recent evaluation of her in March of 2025, given how long her symptoms have lasted of dizziness, tinnitus, memory problems, and confusion, is improvement at this point less likely?
I don't know.
Fair enough. I have no further questions at this time. Thank you for your patience and your time. I believe Mr. Anderson may have some minutes of follow-up question, but I'm done, and I want to thank you on behalf of me and my client, Ms. Co.
Bob, you have any questions?
Unfortunately, I do. Dr. Wilson, I have to see if I can clarify several things. The subjective complaints of mental impairment or cognitive deficits voiced by Ms. Co. in the medical reports that you've seen from the specialists, the neurologists, Kalin and Bhattacharya, they're not supported by their neurologic evaluation, are they?
Objection, argumentative, lacks foundation, calls for speculation beyond the scope of this expert's professed expertise and lack of expertise in neurology, neuropsychology.
Doctor, if you thought that when you saw them, then go ahead and answer the question, but don't guess about it.
I don't know.
Let me rephrase this. You've offered an opinion that you believe, based on the subjective complaints of Ms. Co, that she has some cognitive deficits, mental impairment, correct?
Yes.
You've reviewed the report of Dr. Kalin, who's a specialist, and you've read the report into the record of Dr. Bhattacharya of their neurologic evaluations that do not show neurologic deficits. That's a correct statement, isn't it?
Yes.
Gonna object, okay.
And
I
that's
thought the
contradictory.
patient.
Wait, let her finish. Go
I
ahead,
thought the
Doctor.
patient was going to see a neuropsychologist.
My question was, if I may repeat that, is that the subjective complaints of mental impairment and cognitive deficits voiced to you were not supported by the neurologic evaluations by the medical specialists, the neurologists, Dr. Kalin and Dr. Bhattacharya. That's a correct statement, isn't it?
Hold on, objection, calls for expert neurology opinion outside of the scope of her stated expertise.
If you can say,
It's asking
Doctor,
her to speculate
well, not really,
as a
but
neurologist.
No, I don't believe we are.
that's not what it is. But
Well, that's my objection, counsel.
All right.
But if you can answer the question, Doctor, go ahead. But don't guess.
Well, what their report is no focal neurological deficits.
And the cognitive function and the evaluations were within normal limits, correct?
Same objections, calls for expert neurology opinion.
You know, Bob, those I mean, they speak for themselves. But I mean, if you want to,
Well, Mr. Roach has raised that issue, asking her opinion on these cognitive deficits.
I understand that.
And they run in contradiction to the reports of the specialists. So
So you're
that's not-
asking
Wait a
a
minute, wait a minute.
So
primary
there's
care
no question
physician
pending.
Wait,
to
one at
give
a
a
time.
neurology.
John, just wait. Just let him finish, because I want to say something then.
All right.
So,
All right.
so I mean, those reports speak for themselves, and you got your evidence from what they say. So I'm just not sure why you need to go through that with her again on this.
Let me see if I can phrase it a different way. You referred Ms. Co to specialists to get a specialized evaluation of her neurologic situation, correct?
Yes.
And those reports were made and presented to you, correct?
Yes.
And did you disagree with any of the findings that you found in those reports?
Objection, calls for neurology expert opinion.
Well, not really. Just did you personally disagree with anything that you saw in there, doctor?
I agreed with the assessment.
Mr. Roach has raised the question about the sporadic or constant occurrence of some of these symptoms. When Ms. Co would make an appointment to be seen for follow-up on her complaints, she did that for dizziness and tinnitus periodically. I believe there was 11 times or something during the period mentioned. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so when she was having the complaints, she called up and asked you to be seen, correct?
Yes.
So if between the period of April of 2024 and October of 2024, she did not call up to be seen for those complaints, would it be your opinion that she may not have been experiencing those?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Yeah, that does call for, if you can answer without guessing, doctor, go ahead.
Not being seen or calling for an appointment doesn't mean it didn't happen.
But when she did seem to be having those experiences, she called and made appointments, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's hard to prove a negative. If she didn't call, it's difficult to say whether she was having or not having the symptoms, correct?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Go ahead, doctor.
What's the question?
Well, it's difficult to prove a negative, wouldn't you agree?
Objection, relevance, argumentative, calls for speculation beyond the scope of this expert's expertise.
Can you answer the question, please?
Go ahead, doctor, if you can answer it.
I forgot what the question is.
The question is, you don't know whether she was having the symptoms or not if she wasn't coming in.
Objection,
Yes,
calls
I
for
don't-
speculation.
I
You
don't
can
know.
answer. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just need to insert these objections so an
Yeah.
arbitrator can rule on.
I see. I don't know.
All right. There was mention of change of the diagnosis to loss of consciousness based on a report of Joey, Ms. Co's brother, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, the EMT report that was made at the scene immediately after the accident reported no loss of consciousness. You're aware of that?
From the ER, yes.
And the ER findings immediately after the accident when she was hospitalized, most timely in occurrence to when it occurred, she reported no loss of consciousness.
That's right.
All right. And the brother wasn't present at the accident, was he?
If you know.
Objection, calls for speculation.
If you know, doctor.
I was informed her cousin was driving.
Okay. So you have no information to say that Joey was present at the scene?
That's right.
You made the statement in response to a question that there were a few things going on before the accident that contributed to her overall constellation of health issues. What did you mean by that?
Well, she was already having difficulties with her normal living. She has problems with vision. She can't drive. Her legs are a problem. She is having thyroid eye disease. So I think as a pre-morbid condition, she already has symptoms that can make her feel bad anyway.
That can cause a sense of loss of freedom, loss of independence, ability to do things.
Yes, but not necessarily the dizziness or the tinnitus, but overall the anxiety, depression, and frustration.
The question was raised about your ability to communicate with Ms. Co in English and Tagalog. Did you find any mention in the ER records of difficulty communicating with Ms. Co?
From the ER record,
Yes.
I mean the ER doctor having difficulty communicating with the patient?
Yes.
I don't have any information.
Did you ever have difficulty communicating with Ms. Co in English?
No, she can speak both languages well.
And in terms of the question, you were asked if you observed a deterioration of memory by Ms. Co after the accident. Just to make sure I understood your earlier testimony, well, strike that. What specifically did you mean when you said that you mentioned or recalled a deterioration of memory by Ms. Co?
She reported that she's having problems even with the simple crossword puzzles, which she likes to do, and she's having difficulty with that.
All right. Now, in terms of your personal exchange and involvement with her when you were evaluating her, did you notice any issues with her memory?
Objection calls for speculation, calls for expert opinion.
Go ahead, doctor.
I don't find anything in terms of forgetting names and birthdays and events, but that's not a full scope of memory.
But it's one component. You said she was a good historian,
Yes,
correct? Had a
yes,
good recollection of events and dates and times and events, correct?
yes,
And over time, from September of 2023 through March of 2025, she continued to present that picture.
yes. But based on her brother's report, her functioning at home has changed somewhat in terms of losing her keys, cooking, remembering things, burning food and things like that.
Dr. Wilson, my question goes to your involvement, not with Joey, not what Joey had to say, but your evaluation and interaction with Ms. Co. Did you find that she had difficulties with memory, concentration, and focus when speaking with you?
No,
Unless there are further questions by Mr. Roach, I don't believe I have anything else at this time.
I probably have 2 to 3 more minutes, and I do apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm going to share my screen. This is your last medical visit with Ms. Co on March 28th, 2025. Isn't it true that at that last medical visit where you've seen her, under cognitive impairment, you wrote she continues to have memory impairment?
yes,
And you also wrote she has episodes of crying spells.
yes,
And you also wrote has chronic tinnitus.
yes,
And you also wrote in December of 2024, when she experienced dizziness causing her to fall, sustained impacted fracture.
yes.
And would you agree that the people closest to Miss Co, such as her cousin, her brother, and her son, would have more information than you regarding her memory and cognition at
That,
home?
that calls for speculation, and it is argumentative, but go ahead and answer the question, doctor.
They can observe her. So those are the things I don't have the ability to do.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. I have no further questions.
I need to address that last medical record that was put up where it noted she continues to have memory impairment. Were you basing that on the comments of her brother to you or your own medical evaluations?
It's reporting from the patient and their brother.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're done.
We are done.
Okay,
Anything that needs to be put on the record by the reporter?
this is a videographer. I do need video orders on record. John, would you like your video order standard or expedited? Standard is 10 business days.
Standard, please.
Okay, any other video orders?
Yes, for respondent, and for the court reporter, what's the expedited time?
If you choose expedited, you
Yes.
you can tell me when you would like it.
Doctor,
Yeah.
are we off the record now?
No,
No,
let's
I
go
think
off
we-
the record.
Cool.
okay, this is a videographer. I do need my orders on record, so I have standard for John and then standard for Robert. And
Yes.
Robert, do you want yours synced with transcript?
Yes.
Okay, and Mr. Cyrus, would you like another video?
No, thank you.
Okay, this concludes the video conference deposition of Vanessa Wilson, MD. We're going off the record on August 19, 2025 at 7:26 p.m. Pacific time.